how to start an online yoga business. The 3 types of capital you need to build. Ciao Dharmies, welcome back to my channel. Today I will share with you what it's been like to start and grow my online yoga business, and I will walk you through the 3 types of capital you need to consider before launching your own. Starting an online yoga business isn't just about passion, it's about being strategic. I want to give you some insider knowledge that can help you build a solid foundation for your yoga business, whether you are just starting or thinking about expanding. So let's dive into the 3 types of capital you need. Let's start with point number 1, your initial investment capital. Your initial investment capital is what you'll need upfront to get your business started, to get your business off the ground. It covers everything from equipment to software subscription. Think of it as your setup fund. Here are something you'll need to consider. First, your website, your domain, and your hosting. But we're going to talk about that more later on. Then you want to think of your equipment. If you're teaching online, you want to invest in a good quality camera, but also your lighting and your microphone. This will definitely elevate the professionalism of your content. You want to think of your subscription. You might need platforms like Spotify for music, Canva for design, or TubeBuddy for YouTube optimization. So the second capital is your promotion and expansion capital. This is the stage where many of us yoga teachers get stuck, myself included. Building a great product or service is one thing, but getting it out there, that's another challenge. So promotion and expansion capital is what you'll invest in growing your audience, finding the right people, and crafting your message to resonate with them specifically. You might ask, why pay ads when social media is free? Well, the truth is that organic growth is slower. It can take up to at least a year to build a following. And even then, there is no guarantee that your audience will convert into paid clients. How can you speed up the process? Well, the key is laser-focused organic messaging targeting the audience needs, desire, and problem, combined with paid advertising like Facebook ads. This approach can significantly accelerate your growth. Does that make sense? If you have any question, please feel free to ask in the comment section. For example, I'm currently advertising Dharma Bay Academy, which is my 500 yoga teacher training, and my content complements those ads. My IG post and story reflect the Academy's benefit and how it can transform yoga teachers' careers. Key is alignment. Don't advertise one thing and post another one. Keep your messaging consistent. At this stage of my business, for example, I realized that since I know very little about Facebook advertising, I either need to learn how to do it myself or hire someone with expertise. My business philosophy is always to gain general knowledge of something new before outsourcing. So in this case, getting the basic foundation, getting the basic understanding of Facebook ads, and later on, maybe look for someone that has that expertise. That way, I can identify whether someone is genuinely skilled or not, and I can also communicate effectively when I hire someone to handle tasks I'm not competent in. So I can speak their language, I can communicate better what I need and what they need to help me with. Do you see what I mean? Right now, I'm investing in learning more about Facebook ads, which is part of the second stage of business growth, which is promotion and expansion. I believe it is essential to invest in education and take additional courses that help us reach more people, ultimately growing our income and enabling further investment in the business. So if you are not sure where to start with ads, you have 2 options. Learn the basic yourself, hire someone to manage it for you, but educate yourself first so you know how to spot a good marketer, how to spot someone that has the skills that you need. The third capital that you need is to scaling and optimizing capital. In fact, the third phase of business growth is all about scaling, automating, and expanding. How do you do that? Well, there is one thing I will never stop emphasizing. Invest in yourself through education. Education is your most valuable asset. In this phase, it's crucial to learn the strategies that will help you scale and elevate your business. The best way to acquire this knowledge is by learning from those who have already paved the way. Invest in further education. It could be courses, webinars, and workshops can teach you how to scale effectively in group settings or self-paced courses. Otherwise, you can invest in business mentors. The value of having a mentor cannot be overstated. They guide you through scaling process, providing industry insights and help you avoid costly mistakes. Look for mentors who has a sustainable approach and the specific experience you need to successfully navigate this stage of your business. Now, I'm not quite there yet myself, since I haven't reached this phase yet, so I can't offer more insights in this regard. But what I can confidently talk about is the first capital phase, with a focus on managing costs and the key factors to consider. Just before we start, I'd like to say that I've been able to run my business from day one from the comfort of my own space, which significantly reduced cost. However, if you're running a business with the physical location like a yoga studio or an office, you'll need to account for expenses like rent, utilities, and permits. There might be additional steps between those three stages that I haven't mentioned, but this is my understanding so far and reflects my unique journey as a yoga teacherpreneur. So my initial business investment, let me share some essential to consider before getting started with your business. Let's start with your website, the place where your clients land. I began by using WordPress. I can say that it offers fantastic search engine optimization, the SEO option, with many free plugins available. With WordPress, you have complete control over your website, but it also means you are responsible for updates, security, and backups, which means you need to have someone who is doing maintenance because it's not super tech friendly. On top of that, you do need to consider additional costs like hosting, domains, and maintenance. So the website hosting is normally 26 Australian dollars annually, and the domain is normally $90 annually. If I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't have spent over $1,000 on website creation and another $1,000 on maintenance. Instead, I would have chosen Zenler, which is specifically designed for online courses creation, which is my topic, and comes with integrated tools for marketing and selling. So Zenler versus WordPress. So Zenler is normally $742 annually, which includes hosting, plugins, domains, marketing, maintenance, and all that. WordPress initial creation is $1,000, as I said. Maintenance, so far I paid roughly $1,000, and hosting and domain is normally $120 Australian dollars annually. Let's talk about the equipment costs. So if you don't have a computer, I will definitely recommend you to get one, just because it's easier to type things on a computer, to create files on a computer, and all that. However, if you don't have the money to invest on a MacBook Air, which I think in 2020 I paid roughly $2,000, if you don't have this amount of money for your initial investment, you can go cheaper and you can buy a refurbished one, or you can buy another brand, which is much cheaper than Apple. A wireless microphone, these little ones are great for quality audio. Make sure the quality of your audio is even better than the quality of your image. And if you don't have money for the wireless Rode, which is roughly around $250, you can go cheaper and buy I think there is one very similar to that on Amazon for $60. The next one is indoor lighting. So I don't have indoor lighting anymore. I just have a ring that I'm using right now, so I'm not able to show you. However, I used to have indoor lighting because I used to record my yoga classes in the evening and the room was pretty dark, even with lamps here and there. Was like the quality of the image was pretty low. However, I don't record in the evening anymore and I won't do that ever again because my mental focus is not the same. So I'd rather record my videos during the day, and I normally prefer natural lighting from the window. The window stands right in front of me and I'm right in front of the window, so the lighting is very natural and I much prefer it compared to artificial lighting. So I would not recommend to invest as an initial investment. However, if you like to, normally the prices are in between $130 to $300. So it's really up to you. You can go even cheaper than that, but then there is no point to invest into a lighting because it won't be a good quality lighting. So remember that. The next point is the tripod. The tripod is something that I cannot live without. So it's either the ring that I'm using. I've got another tripod there that is doing my time lapse for my IG story. I love tripods. I mean, when you are outdoor and you don't have any stool or any chair to put your camera, then it's hard to record your videos. So I would definitely recommend to invest in a tripod. And normally it's in between 50 to, we can go up to probably 300, but stay cheap when it comes to a tripod. You don't need the most expensive tripod. Just go into $50 to $100 range will be a good tripod. The next point is the microphone Yeti 3 capsule. I don't know if I say it right. So I bought it initially for my meditations. However, I don't do meditations anymore with that microphone, but I do live streaming classes with that microphone because I live stream in 2 different cameras. I use this one connected to my GoPro for the live streaming on TikTok. And then I have the other microphone, which is the Yeti 3 capsule that I use for my YouTube. So I have 2 microphones for this reason. However, as an initial investment, I don't think it's necessary to buy 2 microphones. You can stick with something like that more than stable microphone. But this is my idea. However, I think I pay for that microphone around, back in the days, it's probably more now with inflation. Back in the day was 130 Australian dollars. Next point is something that you can't miss in your initial investment is your memory card for your camera. I have a SanDisk Extreme 128 gigabyte. You can go lower and pay less. However, I feel like this is one of those investments that it's not that painful if you have more gigabytes. So I would definitely recommend to have more gigabyte on your memory card. I think I pay for that, let me see, around $30. So it's not too much. It's okay. We can afford that. Then let's talk about the camera. I just got my new GoPro 12. I know they released the GoPro 13 probably like a month after I bought my 12. Anyway, I paid for that $530. It was on discount when I bought it. And I also bought a GoPro Media Mod, I think it's called, Media Mod, for $130 something. I needed to buy the Media Mod as well because the entrance for this needed to be from the Media Mod. So I had to add on top of my GoPro the Media Mod just because of the quality audio that I want to provide on my video. Why did I choose GoPro? So GoPro to me is quality audio. I really like their saturation. I really like the color of the GoPro. I really like that I can use it for my video templates where I run outside and stuff like that. I really like because it's small and practical. So I used to have a Canon D6 but I was never using it because it was too bulky, it was too big, it was not as practical. So I had a Canon and GoPro, and I would always take the GoPro with me. So I resold my old GoPro and reinvest into a new one, which is the 12. I really like the 12 because, for example, when I do take photos from my GoPro 12, I can just vocally instruct my camera when to take the photos. The vocal instruction and prompts are so good when it comes to a camera, especially when you're doing everything solo like me. And also, one other thing about the GoPro is that I can stream from the camera directly to YouTube and Facebook. If you don't have any of the above, your initial investment is around $2,400. However, you can be a little bit more budget friendly and save some pennies. Then you should consider your annual subscriptions, like for example Canva. I use it for design, editing videos, screencasting, and publishing tools. I spend $190, I think, roughly annually, but I can say it's a great investment because it does provide a lot of tools for a solopreneur. Canva, I love you so much. Then I have TubeBuddy. However, lately I don't use it so much. It's for video and YouTube channel optimization. I pay $60 for that. It's something that you should consider, but as initial investment, if you're just starting, don't worry about it. Then I pay for Later, which is a scheduling platform, and I pay $200 for that. I use Later to schedule on the following platforms. I use it for YouTube Shorts, Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook. What I do manually is Instagram, the 2 accounts, TikTok, LinkedIn, and that's it. I would say that the platform that I schedule in Later is something that I'm considering to skip for the next annual plan. However, it's quite practical, especially when you don't feel like posting anything. You just upload everything in one platform and the scheduling platform does it for you. But you know, I'm more for the budget, especially as a beginner. If you don't want to invest $200 Australian dollars as your initial investment, feel free not to do it and put a little bit more effort on posting manually. That's it. And then to finish off, the monthly subscriptions for me are, of course, the mobile data. I pay for 90 gigabyte, $45, which is a total of $540 annually just for my mobile data. Then I have Spotify, $14, and consider all the additional costs like the legal and administrative fees, including business registration, licensing, permit, and taxes. Those are my tips for starting an online business and all you need to know when it comes to your initial investments. If you have any questions or want more specific advices on any of those stages, leave a comment below. I love to hear from you and help you on your yoga teacherpreneurship journey. And remember, your business is your own unique journey. It might look different from mine, but the principles remain the same. Build, grow, and scale. Stay dramatically different.